So I ask the opposition to please look at the broader and longer-term fiscal trends. We may have had a good year this FY, but we don't have a structural surplus. We don't have a structural surplus. Our fiscal expenditures have been rising steadily and will continue to increase, and we are almost certain to face a funding gap in the coming years if we do nothing about it. MOF had published an occasional paper earlier this year to highlight this trend. We are expecting more social spending in healthcare for our aging population and to better support vulnerable groups in Singapore. Without the GST increase and tax measures announced in the last two budgets, we would not be able to close the projected fiscal gap. We have been fortunate to have higher than expected revenues in FY22. The government did not plan its budget on the basis that we will have these unexpected upsides in revenue collections. These were either sentiment-based revenues, which are volatile from year to year, or due to higher than expected economic growth. And when we have these surpluses, the government has made good use of them by flowing back these upsides to support businesses and households. We have done this during budget and through off-budget support packages. We also allocated some of these surpluses into funds for specific needs, such as the ComCare Endowment Fund to provide support to our lower-income families, or the Coastal and Flood Protection Fund to protect ourselves against sea level rises. But we should follow through to raise GST to 9% on 1st January 2024. We can be confident that households will be amply cushioned by the assurance package, while we will have the higher GST rate in place and can start to collect additional tax from non-citizens and visitors. Mr. Speaker, we have been able to keep our public services and finances sound through this combination of not delaying necessary adjustments while providing needed support to households. Even in years when inflation is high, we still have to raise some charges and taxes because it is necessary to do so. It is not prudent or sustainable for the government to avoid subsidise every cost increase. Doing so will entail either a high burden on current and future generations of taxpayers or deterioration in service standards. It is not the responsible thing to keep kicking the can down the road or to avoid introducing painful but necessary increases. We may make some people happy by pursuing such policies, but when the financing gap starts to accumulate over time, we will make everyone worse off because it will be even more painful to fix the problem later. Importantly, the government's policies should be seen together and not in isolation or piecemeal. The different policies and measures work together as a whole to collectively help ease the cost pressures on Singaporeans without undermining our fiscal sustainability. This is why I support the proposed amendment from Mr. Liang Eng Hwa, because he's right that the government should continue pursuing policies that together lower cost of living pressures on Singaporeans and their families. And our policies need to be sustainable because we care for Singaporeans now and also for our children and grandchildren.